This year marks the 10th anniversary of the death of my boyfriend's wife, and I plan on leaving him right before it. There's too much to say, but I'll try to make it short. I'm using Google Translate for most things, so sorry if it's not perfect. I'm a 34-year-old woman dating Leon, a 42-year-old man, for 2 years. My uncle became friends with Leon when they started working together, and he started coming to family gatherings and birthdays. Leon is a great guy, and we got along instantly. My family always talked to me about Leon, saying he's a great guy. One day, Leon asked me out on a date, and I said yes. We started dating. Leon has 2 children, a 14-year-old son and a 12-year-old son. His wife died in an accident 9 years ago. Here comes the problem: Leon always talks about his wife. I know it sounds bad to complain about it, but I'm not saying it out of jealousy, it's just uncomfortable. He mentions her in intimate moments, such as when we finish having sex or when we're on a date. Sometimes he just starts telling me random anecdotes about his wife, and I feel like I'm sleeping with a married man and I'm the side piece. I don't ask for much, just a date where it's just me and him, where I don't feel like someone's lover, with a man who talks about the things we like. He goes to a psychologist, so according to him, he's working better on his grief, but I doubt it very much. I'm not the first girlfriend he's had after his wife passed away. He still has contact with his wife's family, which is obvious since they are the grandparents of his children. I have met them in person only once because all they did was tell me how much Leon and his wife loved each other and treated me really badly. They even played a video with photos of Leon and his wife when they got married while I was just standing there, without even a chair to sit on. They think it's cute for me to see my boyfriend with his wife, but it's not cute, it's weird. He always says in front of me that she was the love of his life. I find it sweet, but when I think about the future, I wonder if I really want to get old with a man who makes it clear that he will never love me. Is that the kind of love I want? I want to be the only one for my future husband. One time, I took him to my favorite place, and he just said, it's beautiful. I wish wife's name was here so we could show her this. You two would have been good friends. It's like being a third wheel in my own relationship. I can tell many situations like these. We've talked about this many times, and he just says he does it without thinking, but then he forgets about it and goes back to his usual behavior. I'm tired. The only time I talked about this with my family, they told me that a real woman wouldn't be jealous of a dead woman. I'm not jealous, I'm uncomfortable. I'd be happy to be with a man who loved another woman like that, but I expect him to love me almost the same. They say I shouldn't expect him to love me in the same way since all love is different, and that I should just be empathetic and supportive of him. I listened to them, but nothing got better. I've been feeling so much pressure to go through with this that I can't take it anymore. I finally talked to my friend, who's a psychologist, and she told me that his behavior is not healthy for anyone and that I should think for myself. She texted, good for him for loving his wife so much, but you don't deserve to be used as an emotional support doll, and she's right. I have decided to end the relationship, but this year marks 10 years since his wife's death. Both his family and my family are helping them host a family reunion in her honor with the things she liked. I think it's a nice thing to do, but I'm totally ready to end the relationship. I'm afraid I'll be the bad guy in the story. The 10th anniversary is in July, and I want to end the relationship now, but I fear I'll be seen as a piece of shit if I do it this year when he's so vulnerable. Even my family is pushing me to act like I was his wife's best friend. He even says that his wife and I would be good friends if we had met. Why would you want your wife to be best friends with the woman you're sleeping with? It's too weird. I think I'm insane because everyone around me sees it as something cute. In short, I don't know if I should break up with him now or wait until next year. Would I be a piece of shit if I broke up with him now? Update: a few people who lived the same situation messaged me, and that really helped me feel understood. I finally talked with all my friends about everything he did. I always avoided doing that because I knew they would tell me to leave him, but I just ended up being trapped by everyone else's words. We didn't love each other, and that's obvious, even if he says he doesn't think so. Yes, I actually posted to get approval. I don't know how bad that is, but I needed to know that I was doing things right and that I'm not crazy. The next day, I finally talked to Leon. I really needed to break up at that point. He came to see me at my house, and I told him we needed to talk. I went straight to the point, saying I wanted to end the relationship. He instantly asked me what he did wrong. We've had this talk before, and he does know what things make me uncomfortable. I was tired, so I just proceeded to list everything he did: how he never defended me from his ex-in-laws, how he never made an effort to stop naming his wife all the time even though I told him 1,000 times that it made me uncomfortable, how he made me feel like I was the third in my own relationship, etc. He apologized, saying the same as always, that he doesn't realize it when he does that. We've had this discussion many times before, but this time I told him I wanted to break up. I also told him that I don't think his therapist is helping, but Leon just said the therapy is helping him and he feels mentally well. Leon told me that we could start going together to his therapist because he knows it can be hard for a woman to be with a widower and that jealousy is a normal thing in these cases, and that really triggered me. I've let both his family and mine make me believe that I'm a crazy jealous person. I've even let blogs about widower couples fill my head with things like, you just have to be empathetic, don't expect him to love you, he's always going to love his first wife more, so just get used to it and be a good woman. I've let myself be trampled on just because everyone told me that getting over a loss is difficult and I have to be empathetic and think about the other person. I'm so damn tired of it. I'm tired of being empathetic. I've been dragging this thought for months, and in that moment, I just burst out. We yelled at each other, we said a lot of things to each other, but at the end of it all, he went on with his mentality that I'm wrong and just jealous. He said that I clearly don't feel ready to date a widower, and I ended up being like his ex. I told him that he's a hypocrite, that he talked shit about his ex-girlfriend, but now I'm sure that he treated her like he treated me. He probably took a submissive woman to fill the void and used us as sex dolls. None of that echoed in his mind because he left my house saying I'm just jealous of a ghost and I disappointed him. I'm fed up. I'm so angry while I write this. As soon as he left the house, I sent my mother a message saying that I'm not going to live the same life as my aunt, living in the shadow of a woman who's no longer in this world, and they should have empathy for me and not for a man who's not even their family. I told her that I'm tired of being pressured and I don't care if I die single. I'm sure they don't care about how I feel in the end, they will keep saying that I have a cold heart, like always, but I want to not care about that anymore. My friends are staying at my house to keep me company, and I can finally get all the accumulated shit out of my brain with them. I don't feel good being second, and I know I'll always be second. I don't want to replace the place of the first wife, and I know that even if I wanted to, I never will. I know a lot of people feel good with that kind of relationship, but not me. Maybe I'm really cold-hearted, but I'm surely not that empathetic. If his wife were alive, he would clearly never choose me. He wouldn't even look at me. I don't like that kind of love, and I really had a hard time accepting that I don't want that kind of love for myself. I feel that I am still young and can wait for a man to have me as the first choice in his heart. I hope Leon can overcome his traumas and be happy, but not with me. Someone messaged me that I don't deserve his love, but what love are we talking about? I'm just a sex doll at this point. For now, he's not going to change and doesn't want to change, but that's not my business. I'm not a bedroom therapist anymore. I'd rather be single forever than fall into that again. I want to start more therapy and Pilates. I'm still obviously affected by all of this, and nothing really changed. Nothing would change that fast, but I'm just happy that I'm free now. For now, I just wanted to vent, so sorry if everything sounds too aggressive. Story 2, I said I regret throwing my marriage away and divorcing my husband. I'm a 30-year-old woman who divorced my husband, a 34-year-old man, around 3 years ago. We had been a couple since high school and got married as soon as I graduated college, and he had started working at a public sector bank for a year. I also had a job lined up, so I joined the workforce as soon as we returned from our honeymoon. Work life and married life were not how I had expected at all. With both of us working full-time, we barely had any time during weekdays. I had both Saturday and Sunday off, but my husband had to work Saturdays as well. 2 years into our marriage, I started resenting my husband for never being available for me. I don't know why I started feeling like that, but my mind made me feel like now that we are married, he lost his attraction towards me, which was total nonsense because every bit of free time he had, he spent taking care of my needs. I increasingly became cold towards him, not reciprocating his affection. I made excuses to avoid date nights, made up work pressure when he tried to arrange vacations, faked tiredness to avoid sex, and made excuses to not visit his parents, even though they had always treated me like their own daughter for years. I still can't explain why. I just kept thinking that I was wasting my youth away in this marriage. Obviously, the marriage wasn't working well. My husband asked me many times over the years about going to therapy or opening up to him if he hurt me somehow, causing me to be so indifferent to him. I always cut him off, saying that I was fine. I had completely checked out of the marriage. I still remember the hurt in his eyes when I asked for a divorce. He tried to change my mind many times, but I filed for divorce against both mine and my husband's families. I did not ask for anything from the divorce apart from my share of our marital house. It was sold pretty fast, and he let me have 60% of the value, despite me wanting half of it. It was an amicable divorce as my husband understood that I wouldn't change my mind, no matter what. After the divorce, I felt free for the first time in ages, but the newfound freedom didn't last long. All my life, I had the love and company of my parents and then my husband, but now I was all alone. My parents absolutely loved my husband and were devastated at my divorce. They cut off all contact with me when I went on with the divorce. My ex-husband's parents tried to reach out a few times, but I never picked up. Even then, I hadn't come to my senses and thought that things would surely improve. I requested a transfer to a different state for a change of scenery, and the company happily agreed to send me to a state with a manpower shortage. I started dating for the first time in my life. Having absolutely zero experience, loads of men tried to take advantage of me, but thankfully, I at least had some semblance of self-respect and did not want to sleep with anyone immediately. It was then I realized that those men were just there for the sex, and as I did not give them that, they immediately ghosted me. After some time, I gave in and started sleeping on first dates, but the sex was terrible, not even a fraction of how it was with my ex-husband. Even after sleeping around, it was obvious that these men were only around for the sex and had absolutely zero interest in a romantic relationship. It got so bad that I stopped going out at all. It has been over a year and a half since I went out on a date or even had dinner with another person. I get up, go to the office, work, get home, get dinner, sleep, repeat. The weekends are when it actually hits how lonely I am and what an absolute fool I have been for throwing away a perfectly stable life. I have somewhat reconnected with my mother, but my father said that his daughter passed away the moment I signed those divorce papers. My mother informed me last week that my ex-husband has gotten engaged to his girlfriend of 1 year. Apparently, my ex-husband had gotten into a pretty bad car accident and was admitted to the hospital for nearly 3 months. It was there that he was placed under the care of his fiancée, who was in her final year of clinical internship. My mother was extra nasty when she told me the news. She said something along the lines of, "Yeah, I hope you're happy now that he has realized his mistake of marrying someone like you and is finally moving on with his life." At this point, I don't even have any tears left to cry. I'm all cried out after almost a full year of crying myself to sleep every single night after what I have done. I don't even have the nerve to reach out to him to congratulate him on his engagement and maybe ask for forgiveness. All I feel is constant headaches and dull pain throughout my body. It's laughable how I managed to destroy a life that many people would kill to have. The only thing I'm proud of myself is that I did not trap my ex-husband with a child. A person like me deserves to die alone.